Euaoi.
The WarioWare series is known for its fast-paced gameplay as you try to complete as many microgames as possible without running out of lives. Not only is it remembered for its gameplay, it also has a wide cast of colorful characters who help bring the series to life. Some of the characters, aside from Wario himself, include Jimmy T, the groovy disco dancer, 9volt, the Nintendo fanboy who realistically would have gotten pummeled with lawsuits for Nintendo for even thinking about making his microgames Nintendo themed, and Ashley, the emo witch who will never be playable in Super Smash Bros. No matter how badly people ask. But the WarioWare character who I would like to shine the spotlight on today would be none other than Mona. Mona has been shown to be working part-time in many establishments across Diamond City, where she and her friends live. She's frequently shown to be in a hurry, as we see her zooming around on her scooter a lot. She also appears to be smitten with Wario, which is kind of awkward given that Mona is a high school student. One other interesting tidbit of information is that on the blog for the Japanese website of WarioWare Smooth Moves, Ashley's blog entry explains that Ashley feels lonely as she misses her parents who live in her distant hometown. In the comments, Mona states that she empathizes with Ashley as she also rarely sees her parents as well, and offers Ashley to come to her house if she ever needs comforting. As for who Mona's parents might be, I kinda have a theory as to who they really are. And as the title implies, I believe that Mona's parents are none other than Luigi and Daisy. Why I believe this is because there's a lot of evidence from the WarioWare games that point to that. Whether that would be from her physical appearance or personality, to the cutscenes of the WarioWare games, as well as Mona's various profiles from the games. With all of that out of the way, let's dive right into it. While Mona's appearance has changed many times throughout the games, two of her features that stayed consistent are her blue eyes and orange hair. For reference, it's known that both Luigi and Daisy have blue eyes as well, with the shape of Mona's eyes from her original design resembling more that of Luigi's, while her eyes are shaped more like Daisy's in her current design. Speaking of Daisy, the only other known character in the Mario universe that has orange hair aside from Mona is, you guessed it, Daisy. Not only did Mona inherit Daisy's physical traits, but it seems like Mona also inherited some of Daisy's personality traits as well. According to the Super Mario Wiki, Mona is depicted to have a tomboyish personality, as she is said to be spunky and she is often seen driving a motor scooter, while Daisy is also depicted as having a spunky tomboyish personality in the Mario games. There's an old saying that goes, "The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree." That saying could easily apply for how closely related Daisy and Mona are, not just appearance-wise, but also personality-wise. If you thought that just comparing their looks and personalities was a stretch, there's a lot of evidence in the opening cutscene for Mona's stage in WarioWare Get It Together that really gives this theory a leg to stand on. That's because in the opening cutscene, you get a nice view of Mona's house, which is a giant 2-story mansion with 2 outdoor fountains. A yard full of flowers, Easter Island heads, and palm trees, a big door with a balcony hanging right above the front door, a green roof, an additional apartment on the left side with a pig-nosed door, and a porch on the right with a garage door and a roof in the shape of one of Mona's hats. Why I'm bringing this up is because in the ending of Luigi's Mansion, both the original and the 3DS remake, Luigi is awarded with a new mansion that is built after defeating King Boo. The new mansion's look depends on how much money Luigi, or you, the player, have earned throughout the game. The looks are also ranked from A to H, or S to H in the 3DS remake, with A or S being the biggest, and H being the smallest. One thing to note is that for all of the potential mansion models in both the original and the remake, they all have a green roof, much like Mona's house in Get It Together. While Mona's house doesn't look exactly like any of the possible mansions in both the original and the remake, the house itself looks the most like the B-rank mansion from the original game, just with a wider center and 4 massive columns supporting it, with the additional garage/porch combo and apartment. While the yard looks the most like the S-Rank mansion from the 3DS remake with the 2 fountains, floral display, and palm trees. I should also mention the 3DS remake of Luigi's Mansion came out in 2018, while WarioWare Get It Together came out in 2021, just in case you thought it was a coincidence. There's a possibility that Mona could have made some additional renovations to the mansion with the money she's making from working one of her many different jobs. Not only do we get a view of the outside of Mona's house, we also get a view of Mona's bedroom. If you look at the right side of the screenshot, Mona has 3 pictures hung next to her bed, with the one on the top showing a younger Mona standing in front of what is most likely her parents, with Mona's dad standing on the left who has brown hair and is wearing a green shirt with brown pants. We also have Mona's presumable mother on the right, who is depicted as having orange hair and wearing a light orange/yellow dress. If it wasn't already obvious, Luigi has brown hair and wears green, while Daisy has orange hair and wears orange and yellow. As for the brown pants, in the artwork for the Mario Bros. Arcade game, Luigi is shown wearing brown overalls in the game. Just these 2 screenshots, which are both from the same game, have a lot of evidence that point to Luigi and Daisy being Mona's parents. But if you're not convinced just yet, we're going to be looking into one more piece of evidence that I found. If we look at Mona's profile on the WarioWare Incorporated official site, we get a lot of information regarding Mona and her personal life. What's really interesting is that under the family section, Mona says this about her family. My dad's an artist, and my mom is a supermodel. I wish I had a big sister, but I'm an only child. There are many things that I have to say about this. First, it sounds oddly specific that Mona wishes she had an older sister rather than just a sister. My theory for this is that Luigi, who is a younger sibling, probably told Mona stories about how awesome his older brother Mario is when she was younger. This was what probably made Mona want to wish specifically for an older sister. Now, onto their careers, where Mona said that her dad, aka Luigi, is an artist, while her mom, aka Daisy, is a supermodel. When I first saw that, it almost felt like that was enough to just make the theory collapse entirely. Because I couldn't find any piece of evidence throughout any of the Mario games that portrayed Luigi as an artist. Until the thought of the portrait ghosts came to my mind. In Luigi's Mansion, the portrait ghosts were released from their paintings by Boos under the command of King Boo, where Luigi has to vacuum up all of the portrait ghosts. Captured portrait ghosts are then returned to their paintings via the ghost portrificationizer. Going based on that, here's my theory. Mona saw the portraits of these ghosts when she was younger and asked, "Who made these portraits?" Luigi just told her a white lie and said that he was an artist who painted those portraits. Why Luigi would do this is because he was probably afraid that if he told Mona the truth and that the portraits were made from ghosts that Luigi caught, he would have ended up making Mona live her life being scared of ghosts and potentially other things as well. Going more on the white lies, I feel like Daisy lied to her about her profession by saying that she's a supermodel instead of being the princess of Sarasa Land. Why I feel like Daisy would lie about being a princess is because first off, she likes to act more casual, and second off, Daisy would be worried that if she told her the truth, Mona would probably let that get to her head and start acting like a spoiled brat just because she's royalty. So those are my responses for that. There's one final question I would now like to answer after showing all of the evidence and my reasons for it. Does this mean that Luigi and Daisy are bad parents for lying to their daughter about their personal lives and rarely make time for her? To which I say, do you see how much of a hard worker and how independent she is in the WarioWare games? If anything, I think Luigi and Daisy were good parents. They wanted her to become an independent hard worker because they knew they'd be too busy to raise her, so I think they got what they wanted from their parenting skills. If they told Mona the truth about their personal lives when Mona was young, Mona would probably be a dependent brat with anxiety problems. And if Luigi and Daisy ever decide to tell her the truth and why they even lied to her in the first place, I'm sure she would understand. The only flaw I could think of from their parenting is that they let her get groomed by Wario, aka the Man Cougar. It's been mentioned in many of Mona's profiles that she is a huge fan of Wario and is even shown to be smitten by him. In fact, Wario even lets her tag along with him on some of his adventures. Since Wario was able to integrate himself into as much of Mona's life as possible, Mona has basically succumbed to Wario. It really doesn't matter if Luigi and Daisy are Mona's biological parents or not, since Wario is going to be the one who Mona calls daddy at the end of the day. But hey, that's just a theory.